This is Canadian Cult Cinema. This film was picked via a poll on our Facebook page. If you'd like to have a say in what Canadian Cult Cinema reviews next, please join us on Facebook. The Editor is a 2014 Canadian Giallo spoof produced by the very talented people at Astron 6. Now, before we get things started, I should probably explain what a Giallo film is, for those of you who don't know. Giallo is just Italian for yellow, and the subgenre gets its name from a series of Italian crime mystery pulp novels which featured a yellow background. The Giallo film could be loosely defined as an Italian thriller/horror movie with mystery elements. These films are often very stylistic and violent. Another common element is a mysterious killer, often wearing black gloves, whose identity is not revealed until the final act of the movie. Probably one of the most celebrated Giallo directors is Dario Argento. Now, he's made many great Giallo films like The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Cat o' Nine Tails, and Deep Red. That's just to name a few of my personal favorites. He also made a film just called Giallo later in his career, but that one's not very well regarded. So that's what a Giallo is, and that's what the Editor is spoofing. Now, when I say spoofing, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. It's not an over-the-top slapstick spoof like Scary Movie or something like that. The Editor is a loving and accurate recreation of a Giallo. It just accents some of the genre's more absurdities. It's clear that the filmmaker spent a lot of time watching Dario Argento, Mario Bava, and Lucio Fulci films. The Editor tells the story of Ray Ciso, who is played by Adam Brooks. He also co-wrote and co-directed the film. Ciso was once the greatest editor in the world, but an accident while cutting film severed 4 of his fingers. He now has 4 prosthetic wooden fingers on his right hand. His career is in decline, and Ray has now had to resort to cutting low-budget pulp films. When the lead actor from a film that he's been editing turns up murdered at the studio, and his fingers have been cut off, the police think Ray is the #1 suspect. Ray tries to clear his name, but Inspector Periphery, played by Matthew Kennedy, also co-writer and co-director, soon discovers that Ray was once locked in an insane asylum, which was run by Dr. Cassini, who was played by Udo Kier. Things aren't looking good for the Editor at this point. He starts to question his own sanity, unable to tell the difference between what he's editing and what's reality. And in the meantime, more bodies keep showing up, all missing fingers. The plot is unnecessarily dense, but that is keeping with what a Giallo is. There's also some really great surreal shots, and of course lots of gore. There's a teased eye stab scene, but the filmmakers don't follow through with it. I'm not exactly sure why, but perhaps they decided that no one could do it better than Fulci. That only scratches the surface of what's going on in this film. The Editor is very faithful to its Giallo roots. It lampoons it in some very witty ways, like the primary colors used, the quick camera zooms, the overdubbed voices which are ever so slightly out of sync.
Now, will our film ever get finished?
Oh, really? And if you scared me to death, the lead actor, how then would the film be finished?
If you're not familiar with Giallo films, a lot of the more subtle gags may go over your head, but I do think you can enjoy this film regardless. Seek out the Editor, it's well worth your time. Famed poster artist Graham Humphreys, who worked on posters for Nightmare on Elm Street and the Evil Dead films, created some stunning artwork for the movie. The Editor was made by Astron 6. So what is Astron 6? Well, this is a quote from their website. Astron 6 is a banner/brand we go by, and it's no coincidence that Astron sounds a lot like Vestron. The name is meant to evoke certain nostalgia for obscure VHS movies of the 80s. We met at a local film festival and decided to make movies together. We all take turns writing, directing, and acting, and most importantly, our movies cost nearly nothing to make. We are financed by pure, naive passion and ignorance alone. How can you not love a quote like that? The collective includes Adam Brooks, Jeremy Gillespie, Matt Kennedy, Connor Sweeney, and Steve Kostanski. They have released a few other full-length films like Manborg and Father's Day. Jeremy Gillespie and Steve Kostanski both wrote and directed the excellent horror film The Void, which is a bit of a departure from Astron 6's more comedic fare, but equally as good. Astron 6's latest effort is a web series called Divorced Dad. It was released on YouTube on Valentine's Day and then quickly pulled for a joke that YouTube deemed inappropriate. But the show is back up and you can watch it on the Divorced Dad Show YouTube channel right now. Thank you for watching Canadian Cult Cinema. If you enjoyed this review, please hit that like and share button. And if you want to see reviews of some more crazy Canuck films, please hit subscribe. We release a new review each week. Some previous films we have looked at have been Deranged from 1974 and the post-apocalyptic film set in Halifax, DEFCON 4. Until next week, see ya.